Now we just need to check if I'm going live, and then hopefully we should be good. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. I'm gonna refresh the page. I don't think we are live, but let's see.
Yeah, but it says live.
Yeah, I understand that, but for some reason, oh, you're there. Okay, great. So
Hi.
we are alive. Okay, cool.
But then,
Hi guys, my name is Richie. I'm a senior videographer. This is my son, Joaquin. All right. And what we're gonna go through is what I will be doing, hopefully, by the time I'm 47. This is the second time I'm recording this because apparently I was uh, saying too much about numbers. So hopefully I can give as much information as possible, at the same time be a little bit careful about what I'm saying. All right, so why is my son here? Because the idea, the plan is to be done by 47, or at least semi retire, and then completely retire by 55. So, how did I do this? I basically used a bunch of AI models. So, there's ChatGPT, Claude, there is another one, Gemini, okay, and also Base 44. So, I'm using all these apps to figure out, okay, generally, what's the forecast? Am I gonna be okay in 5 years or 8 years or 10 years? And in this case, I think hopefully I should be good by 47. It really depends on if I get more active income, in other words, salary. Also depends on my son, because if he becomes a rocket scientist, are you going to become a rocket scientist?
no, but there's a chance.
There is a chance. If he doesn't become a rocket scientist, that means we'll probably end up doing something called, uh, I guess, regional arbitrage or country arbitrage, where you go to a cheaper place and use your money, or your, in this case, my dirham, uh, to have more power in terms of currency. Because if we stay over here, it's going to be a bit tough. Not really tough, but your money doesn't go that far. But anyway, the idea is to stack money, save, and the ways we're going to do that, or at least how we have done it as a family, is by doing real estate and investing in some stocks or indexes. So let's start with the real estate stuff. All right. And hopefully I won't diverge numbers too much. All right. So let me try to share my screen here. And it's going to be this one. All right. So you can't really see it properly, but you get the idea. I'm basically talking to it, trying to ask it questions, and also how to even talk to my wife about this stuff, because her idea is, by the time we are 47 or 55, ideally we should have, um I think she wants, how much does mommy want? She wants 2.4. Is it 2.4 million? I think 2.4 million dirham, right? So why are we thinking about that number? What is that number about? It's basically the 4% rule, right? So imagine you are 55, right? and you don't want to keep, working. If you have 2.4 million dirham and you only take 4% of that as your so-called salary or whatever, basically the amount you can spend per year, right? Now, of course, in Dubai, that's a bit tough, but maybe we go to Fujairah, I don't know. But the other idea is you go to the Philippines, that's where we're from, and you do basically arbitrage. So you're using whatever money you're gaining over here as an OFW or someone who lives not in the Philippines, and you put that more into work. You can either buy a new property or just day-to-day expenses, food, and so forth, right? So that's the overall plan when it comes to being 47 or 55. Now, why is he here? Because again, it depends. If he becomes a rocket scientist, gets a what do you call it? Scholarship. That means we most likely will stay here and just keep building. If he doesn't, that means he's probably going to end up in Manila where you study. Then again, the value of your money goes a long way, because I've studied in the Philippines. College there is about, what is that? That was about 40,000 when I went to college. It was about 40,000 pesos. Let's say 50,000 pesos per semester. So TriSem, that's 150,000 pesos. Okay. Hopefully that happens. If not, well, the idea is, okay, by the age of 47, we have liquid cash 185K, and it keeps accumulating. So how did we accumulate, right? That's the whole point of this video. We accumulated because we bought real estate. Okay, so hopefully I can show it to you somewhere here. Let me get my dashboard where I basically did a forecast. Okay, so okay, let's just look at this. By the time I'm 55, okay, you can see the numbers. I've got a DSO unit, or Dubai Silicon Oasis unit, which I bought in 2024, that ideally should give me rent of, let's say, well, right now it's giving me 3,500 dirham rent per month. Ideally, by the time I'm 55, I'm getting 4,200. My wife also has a property in Manila that's a negative cash flow right now, but she has had that property for about 10 years, and that's appreciated in value. So that's around 5 million pesos right now. So hopefully we can pay for that, finish off the negative cash flow, and we get 1,500 dirhams per month, inshallah. Hopefully. That is the manifestation. Okay. We're about to get another unit, okay, in Liwan, okay, which is very close to Dubai Silicon Oasis. So again, if that all goes well, we're basically going to rent that out for 3,500, maybe a bit more. So this calculation over here, as you can see, is actually wrong, but it's fine. The Mark Hills 2, if I'm actually going to move, this will definitely get a good rental, because most what you call units in the Mark Hills 2 are renting out for, let's say, 85,000 to 90,000 per year, right? So on average, I'll get over 10,000 dirhams, which is awesome. Okay, if I get 12,000, that's amazing, because if I do, again, location arbitrage. That was the word I was looking for, which means I'm moving to Naga City, which is where my wife is from. Then, that money goes a long way, right? I can figure out how to buy another property in Naga. I can pay for my son's education. And at the same time, I'm not having to keep pushing on active income. I'm using my passive income to allow me to chill after 47 and just, there's terms for this. They call it coast fire, they call it barista fire. There's a lot of stuff you can find online, but this is basically what we're doing. We're hedging. And how are we hedging? Because if I were to keep my money in a bank account, or just keep it somewhere like under my bed, what's going to happen? It's inflation, and that's happening right now. So if you are paying, chicken shawarma is 5 dirhams, you're now paying 10 dirhams. That's really what's happening. Even the fuel right now, for example, the other day, my wife had to fuel up her, what is it, Nissan Pajero? What is it? Pajero? I don't know what car you have. Mitsubishi, okay? Whatever. A full tank was 300 dirhams. That's crazy. All right? That is insane amount of money for a full tank. So that's how we need to hedge on inflation. You need to invest in assets. In our case, we invested in real estate. So we bought the Mark Hills 2 in 2023. That's our house. And then I refinanced, got equity from this house, used that 220K, bought a rental property in Dubai Silicon Oasis, which is 40% down payment. We bought that for 550,000. So again, we're getting rental checks every month. You need to make sure you have cash flow. So if I'm getting 3,500 dirhams as my rental every month, my mortgage is only 1,700 something, okay, which is awesome, because that means while I'm sleeping, I'm making cash, which is amazing. I'm leveraging the bank, right? So that's one. We're eventually gonna get another unit, and then hopefully, if we don't, again, it really depends on the situation and the market in Dubai. If we are able, we might buy a fifth unit, but most likely not. It really depends. If our rental checks increase and I get more not passive, if I get more active income, right? What I mean by active, I mean salary and whatever, work. Then, or if Joaquin, figures out how to make, an extra 5,000 dirhams, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna make business.
Business. Amazing idea. Business. Right? That would be awesome, because that means he is creating value, and we're able to pay down the mortgages that we have. If we don't pay down the mortgages, then we just buy another unit, a fifth rental property. So it really depends. Next is stock trading or ETFs. Now, I'm not good at that. I've mentioned it in the caption, as you can see, but it's basically two things. You've got VOO, which is by Vanguard, and you've got QQQ, which is Nasdaq 100. I'm not very good at it because I cannot stomach losing money, especially on red days like what's happening now with the war and everything. My wife is pretty good at it. she's put into growth stocks. So, for example, Micron, which is very big right now. I tried investing in QBTS or quantum chips, did well, but then again, red. So, I would suggest if you actually just want to keep your money, VOO or SCHD, Schwab, which gives you dividends, or QQQ, right? But you could also put your money into a big chunk of money into, let's say, WIO Bank, WIO, WIO Bank, which will give you, again, 5%, basically a high yield bank account. And you just keep stashing your money in there. Okay. So, other than that, what I try to do is just house hack as well. So since this year, we've tried to rent out one of our rooms in this house, which allows us again to have some buffer. So the wife DJs, we do house hacking, um, just trying to figure out ways to uh, keep a certain lifestyle and not use the rental checks to show off that we have more, right? Because once you start wasting your money or your rental checks because, oh, I have more money now, or my net worth is higher, I'm gonna, buy a new car, or I'm gonna do something cool, I'm gonna buy a new camera. And like, no, it's, if you do that, you're gonna be in trouble as well, because you're not gonna get new Nintendo games, and you're not gonna get stuff that you want if we keep doing that, right? So hopefully that is a lot of information. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. This time I did not show a lot of stuff like numbers and how I log uh, my spending and all that, because yeah, I might get in trouble. So the idea is try to use these apps to forecast. That's how I'm, doing my retirement plan. Uh, and yeah, hopefully this will help you if you think you are having a good stash of money. And even if you don't have a big stash of money, this is a really good way to start. So my wife and I, we didn't have a lot of money before we got our first house. It was tough. So we saved about 100,000 dirhams. We took loans as well. I took a loan about 30, 40K. Luckily, it was from the company I was working for. So it's tough. Like, it's not an easy task to come up with a huge amount, because we luckily got this house for 850,000. So 20% of that is around 150, 170K. That's a lot of money, especially for a lot of people, right? But we, took the time, we took the effort, we were patient, we just kept, saving, and luckily we got to this point, and it paid off because the property appreciated. We refinanced, as I mentioned, and that's the main thing. Just keep stacking and just hedge, because if you don't hedge, you're going to lose to inflation. And if you don't leverage the bank, well, good luck, because honestly, there's like, if you're going to just keep cash, that's going to be tough. So hopefully that helps. And hopefully this guy is going to remember this video. I'm doing this video because I want to see this video in, let's say, 2 to 3 years, and how I've done, and then look at it again after 5 years, and then after 10 years. Hopefully by then I'm good and I'm not working a corporate job. I'm chill, and maybe in Dubai, maybe not. maybe back and forth, Dubai and Philippines. That's it. See ya.